So welcome to my live. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're here, if you're not, that's okay. I was having issues with my other live, so sorry if there's any confusion. All right, so let's get down to it. Tonight is origami night, which means we're doing bunnies. If you've seen my posts, you know that we're doing bunnies tonight. If you haven't, it's okay. Follow along and you'll see them for the next night that we have. So our bunny is going to look something like this, okay? It's not going to look exactly like this, but something very similar to it. So it's going to look kind of like a rectangle. We got tail, we got ears, face, normal bunny feeling vibe, okay? Also, if you're having trouble hearing me, I'm testing out my new mic. I don't know if you can see it. So we're testing out a couple things tonight, so just bear with me. All right. So let's get started and not waste any more time. This is an 11 by 8 regular piece of paper. I chose purple because I just wanted to be fun, and so here we are. I'm also going to back my camera up a little bit because it's like in my face. Okay, there we go. Now we're better. All right, so let me get my stuff together here. All right, so remember, this is our end result. And if you've seen my post, you know that you were supposed to probably have some scissors, which we have. Marker, which is completely optional, but I do highly recommend to make your bunny a little more characteristic and cute. And I recently, my brain had a thought before this live and was like, oh, maybe that should be a thing. You might want a glue stick depending how secure you want to make your origami piece, but we can talk about that when we get there, because at the moment we just have paper. So let's make our square, because that's the first thing you always need in origami. At least in origami I make, you need a square. So how do we get a square out of this, right? So you're going to want to end up taking a corner and folding it so it's like on this side, and I will show you what I mean. So you're just going to fold it onto the side like so. I'll show you. Boom. All right, so here's the corner, right? And it just folds. So then you have like this part up here, you have a triangle. What you're going to do is you're going to cut right along there to get a square, and it'll work, I promise. So this is where you need your scissors. Take your scissors and just cut at the top of this rectangle. So right down this line. And if you're not sure, just wait until I'm done, and then you can do it. All right, so I cut, and now when we open it, so here, let me show you. This is what it looks like, right? When the thing was attached, it was like this, so you literally cut that off. Now you have your triangle, and when you unfold your triangle, you now have a square. Amazing. Awesome. Sorry. Anyway, so you have a square. And that line in the middle, we aren't actually even going to use. It's literally just to make the square. So now we're going to actually get into making the bunny. There's really only what I think is a difficult step in here. So this is more of an easy origami, and I've been playing around with different ways to make it. So if you've seen this kind of like way of making it before, it's because I have looked at other people's ways of making it. Also, welcome to whoever popped in. We are making origami bunnies. Bye. Anywho, so we have our piece of paper. We are going to fold it in half, hamburger style. I mean, it's a square, so you're really only going to get what you're going to get. So you're going to fold it in half like so. Boom. So we folded it in half. Amazing. Excellent job. All right. Then you want to take, so you can fold it out. You're going to take each end and fold it in towards the middle. So you'll end up having like 3 creases, like 1, 2, 3, if that makes sense, like vertically. So I'll do it, and then you can look at it and see if it makes sense to you. So you just take it, fold it in the middle. Oops. Okay, so this is what I mean. So you should have 3 creases like that are vertical. All right, so remember we stick each end and we folded it into the middle, okay? So hopefully that looks and makes sense. All right, we're gonna move on to the next step. So, all All right, so for this next step, it's super simple, and you do it on all 4 sides. You're just going to take like this bottom corner and flip it into the middle again so that it's like lined up, kind of like how we did to make the square, if that makes sense. I'll show you. All right, so take the bottom and you just literally fold it in like a paper plane. See, it's here, it's not here. Just do that for all of the rest of your corners, and then I will show you the next step. Okay, so you put them all in there, make them all happy corners. I mean, your corners can be sad if you want, but you know, I kind of like mine being happy. Also, don't worry about perfection. I feel like it's typical that people are like, when it comes to origami, you have to be perfect. You really don't. I have made origami out of a piece of tissue before, so like, just do you. Anyway, so now that you have it, to have a shape that looks like this, I was debating earlier if it's a hexagon or a trapezoid. I think it's probably a hexagon because it has 6 sides. But anyway, so we have these. All right. Then you're going to unfold it again. So it's like this, okay? So you had all of them, they unfolded. Now this is what I think is the hardest part to understand and to show. So what we're going to do is make another triangle out of the triangle we just made by like kind of stretching the corner and flattening it out. And I'm going to try my best to show you, but if you don't understand, I'm sorry. I was trying to figure out how to do this earlier, but I'll show you and see if I can. All right, so we see this, right? So we're going to take this crease and we're basically just flattening it out. All right, so I'll show you the end result of what I'm talking about and then try to see if I can show you the process. Not entirely sure about that, but you know what? We're in the era of trying, so go. Okay, so this is what you want your end result to look like. So you literally kind of just took that corner and flattened it out, if that makes sense. And hopefully it makes more sense now. So that's like literally, you just open it up and flatten it out. So just try that for your corners. If you don't understand, I can make a separate video later on explaining, actively showing you and explaining it better than I'm explaining it right now. So there's that. All right, you can do this for all 4 corners. So here's your first side. You got like another square basically, but you kind of have a diamond shape and that's what you want. Do that for the top too. So remember, you're really just like opening it up and just flattening it. Make sure you follow all the creases you already made. Those are guidelines for you, and it just makes it super simple. So just follow the creases and it's like breadcrumbs. Just follow the breadcrumbs. As long as they don't get eaten by birds, you're good. So just do that for the rest of your corners, and then I will show you the next step. Again, sorry if my instructions are not super clear. I can make a separate video on some of this stuff as well. Paper's being mean. I love origami. Okay, so now the side we've been working with, it should look a little bit like this. Actually, it should look like this, but you know. So you should have pointies like in the middle. You should have everything kind of flattened out. It should still have the hexagon shape. So if you don't have the hexagon weird shape, then you probably did something a little wrong there, but that's fine, perfectly okay. So this is what we got. We're going to do one side at a time because it's just easier to do one side at a time for this next step. So just do your best to, you know, follow along. All right, we're going to make the tail. Now, as we know, on our little model, we have this little triangle jutted out. This is a lot of triangles, by the way. So triangles for the win. Okay, so this is a little triangle, right? So how do we do that? This is the magic, all right? So we have triangles of triangles. We're going to take triangles and make them more triangles. So we're going to take this, we're going to bend it down. All right, there's a crease here. Bend it on the crease. So bend it down so it's like this, okay? See, creates another triangle. All right, then, so from here, flip it this way. So the back is doing this, all right? So what we've been seeing is now facing you, okay? You're just going to take a little bit and push it over the edge. So your back should look like this, and this is what it should look like. You see what I mean? Went over. All right, so this is what's gonna be your tail, and you'll see how it becomes that when we fold. All right, now we're gonna do the head. This is the second trickiest part, I think, of this whole origami process. But it's really only hard at the last step, but you got it. I believe in you. Okay, so we're gonna make more triangles. So we have this, right? We're kind of gonna do a similar process to what we just did, except we're gonna fold on the crease backwards. So turn it around so that the folds will face you and the smooth back will face away, okay? You're gonna take your triangle, fold it on that crease. Oh, actually, sorry, wrong way, my bad. Fold it backwards. All right, fold it backwards. Let me see if mine actually is looking correctly. That worked. All right, so your back should look like this. It could probably be a little further down if you want it to be. It's honestly, in the end, all about preference. But for reference, we'll just go with this, all right? Just fold it on the crease. Beautiful job. Doing great. Thank you for following along. All right, so now I'll show you all the sides. So this is the side we've been working with the most, okay? You have your tail. You got these weird little flaps, all right? Don't worry about those. They'll be fixed in a second. On this side, you should have, the tip of your tail popping out and your head. All right, this is important, okay? Hold on, buckle yourselves in. Do what you got to do to understand. You are literally, so the side that has the tail popping out and the head, all right, turn this way, fold on that very first middle crease that we ever made. All right, so here's another angle, okay? We look at it this way, fold in for this, okay? So literally like that. All right, so that at first crease we ever made when we folded it horizontal, the first horizontal line, no, sorry, vertical line, fold on that. I'm trying to make sense. It's late at night. I'm tired. Anyway, okay, we have like one more step, and then we did it. We created a bunny, okay? So you should look like this. You should have like this rectangle with your little triangle tail, all right? Now, if you can see these little other triangles, we got triangles. I love the triangles, all right? You're just gonna do this thing. So grab down here, grab this tip, and pull up. You can pull up as far as you want, or as not as far as you want. All right. Now, this bunny has a face a little more forward than some people may like, but it still looks like a bunny. Okay, so if you didn't understand what I just did, let me put it back down. So I can figure out how to put it back down. All right, put it back down. All right, if you didn't understand, you were gripping at the bottom, grabbing like this tip right here, and just pulling up. And when you feel like it's good, you just flatten it out, all right? So now, this is what the stereotypical bunny looks like for the way I make my bunnies, okay? If you want to make it more customizable, you can take your scissors and cut down the middle of the ears, all right? So now we have two little flaps. You can fold said flaps into more triangles. So that's what we're doing. And you'll have this little bunny with kind of like helicopter ears. Honestly, that's what they look like. Okay. And if you want to add a face, this is where your marker comes in. You can just add some simple eyes, mouth, whiskers. I think bunnies have whiskers. We're going to go with they have whiskers. If they don't have whiskers, you can correct me. Okay. So I gave my bunny some eyes. All right. And you're probably wondering, well, where does the glue stick come in? The glue stick comes in only if you feel like, so if you open it back up, right? These flaps here are kind of loose. If you wanted to glue those down, like with a glue stick, like a just simple glue stick, you can, just to make it more stable. I know some people really need to have their stuff stable, which I totally understand. Stability is one of the biggest things I strive for in my life. So I totally understand if you're like, everything needs to be stable. Anyway, in conclusion, I hope that this tutorial helped you make a bunny, and thank you so much for joining me tonight and watching me, and thank you to everybody who supported me and has supported me throughout this journey. And yeah, so I think I'm probably going to end it now if I can figure out how to do that, because I was having issues earlier. And we're going to have, okay, this is important. So the next live we have, I don't have a date yet. It's not going to be next week, but I think it will be the week after. So maybe the last week of January. I think the last week of January. And it's going to be poem night. Now, I've talked about how poem nights in the future, I'll have this submission thing where you guys can submit like your own poems. I'll read them, give you credit, all the things, because they're your poems. This first poem night, I will read some of my own poems, and there'll be a theme. I'll give you a theme each time. So like if it's body positivity, self-love, something encouraging, because I think we need more kindness and encouragement in the world. So I will encourage you to think more about that in poetry. Obviously, sometimes you do need to write a sad poem. Totally get that. I had the same thing, and maybe we'll have themes like that too. But in general, I just want them to be very relatable and inspiring. So just heads up, next live will be a poem night. I will share some of my poetry, and then further down the line, I'll figure out a way so other people can share their poetry with me, and I can print them out and read them live. Awesome. So I think that's it. Yeah, that's about it. All right, I will give you more information about the next live that's happening. I think I'm gonna do the haul next week. I'm working out some logistics on that. But yeah, that's what I got. So thank you so much for supporting me. Please hit that subscribe button. And this was super fun. See you next time. Thank you. Bye.